I don't know if this changed anything, or I don't know if it's because I have FL Studio opened. Let's see here. Let's see if I'm glitching. Okay, now I'm not glitching. Oh wait, no, I am. What is going on, dude?
Trusty iPad. We could really tell. Let's see. Let's see. Are we live?
Okay, it doesn't look like I'm glitch. I'm fine now. Now let's
Okay.
put on FL Studio and see if that's the reason
It doesn't
why.
look like I'm fine now. Now let's put on.
Let's see. It might be because I have too many programs open. That'll suck because I've done this before. So I don't know why it would be a problem now. Oh shit, she's bright. Oops, shit. All right. I guess we'll fucking take up where we left off. I guess I don't know. Let's see here. Okay, this is at 100%. We almost broke this shit. All right, we haven't used this bad boy in a while. I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna throw on duet display and do it. I'm not gonna do any of that shit. All right. But talking about workflow, spoiler alert on the workflow. That was in the description. Some beat making, some tips, and also can we increase our workflow? So that's the topic of the whole conversation. Sorry that it's broken up into pieces. We were really getting into some good stuff on the first one, but if I can briefly just touch on that shit, the Akai Fire is a dope unit. It just has some things that it just didn't get updates, and it feels like Akai. My problem with Akai is that it feels like they abandoned this unit as well as FL Studio. I feel like they abandoned this unit, and this unit's actually a dope unit. It's actually a real dope unit. You know what I'm saying? It's just when you hit the browse button, you know what I mean? Now it's doing it, but sometimes when you hit the browse button, it doesn't. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't do what you need to do. But real quick, boom. I mean, when you do hit the browse button and everything works from within here, you could really get into some. I've been using the direct wave lately, and I've been using this program for a long time. And I've been recently getting into the direct wave lately, and I haven't really used this program a lot. That's another thing too is looking up more tutorials online, doing all those things. I'm constantly looking at tutorials. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really not implementing a lot of the information. A lot of times I'm looking at the tutorials and I'm just watching it. I mean, it may sound crazy just for the sake of entertainment. You know what I mean? But I might as well implement some of the things that I'm learning on there and really get deep into the stuff. As long as I've been using FL Studio, I should be getting deeply involved with this DAW. And knowing what I know now about the direct wave, real quick, you know, hopefully, hopefully I'm not glitching anything. Let's go ahead and maximize this over here so we can see. Turn the brightness a little bit more. Seems like we're fine. I'm on Chrome. I don't know. I did an update on Windows and I'm on Chrome now, so I don't know if that has anything to do with it. Um, but if we go to some samples real quick, and we go to, let's say, chords over here, and we just drag it, and we hit notes. And we got a pad that we can play chromatically without it really sounding too much like where it's time stretched. See, that doesn't sound too bad. I'll give you an example. We're gonna take the same sample and we're just gonna put on a regular sample track. Hold on, my bad. Go to the track, hit that wrench, click cut itself, and now you're gonna get that poly. Right? But on the direct wave, it sounds a little bit different though. It just sounds better on the direct way, especially with like more like samples that are just more clear cut and concise samples. You know what I'm saying? Like that are more longer in nature. Let me see if I can play that beat, give you guys an example. I don't think it was this one. No, it wasn't this one. I mean, it kind of sounds the same now, but there's moments where like I was playing it on this one particular track and I was like, wow, this sounds way better. We're gonna mess with it more. I found a tutorial on the direct wave on making it like a multi-sampled instrument. You know what I'm saying? So I've been using it a lot more. But hold on. I'm trying to find the track the one that we worked on the other day. We kind of listened to a bunch of tracks, and so that was a bad idea. This was one, but there was another one. See, there it is right there. I mean, there's just no way I could do that same. I mean, maybe it's just me, but there's no way I could do that same thing on a regular sampler track. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just tripping, but you know what I'm saying? Just using a lot more plugins. Use all the plugins you can. You know what I mean? Use everything you can. You know, and this is just a cool little beat thrown together. You know, I'm good at coming up with a cool 4-bar beat, you feel me? But then when it comes to like expanding it, but see, that's the thing with practice. And so that's why I can't really be too hard on myself because I don't practice the way I should, you know? Even though I've been doing this for so long, I don't approach this and hit this up the way I should. And so I really feel like I can't be hard on myself because I don't try as hard as I should. You know what I'm saying? So, oh, what the fuck? Come on, what the fuck is that about? There we go. That's weird. So the point is, you know, try harder. You know what I'm saying? What the fuck is going on? You know, we just updated. So I'm not gonna take any chances. Was it off? No, it wasn't off. Indestructible. What's it called, man? We just worked on it. Hmm. The one I played you was one. The one I just played you was one of them, but there was another one. Oh man. I can't remember which one it was. Fuck. Damn, bro. What the fuck? Why does it keep fucking doing that, dude? I think it's my trackpad. I started using a mouse instead. I think I might go back to that. Dude, what was the track, dude? I don't think it was this. Oh wait, hold on. What was yesterday? Okay, it says it by date. Here we go. I think it was this one. Wait, is that what we just played? That's what we just played. All right, hold on. Date modified or date created? Let's see. No, not co-op. Wasn't that one? We already played this one. We already played this one, didn't we? Yeah, we played that one already. Yeah, I guess that's it, because the ones we worked on were from. I guess it had to be that one. Let's see. Yeah. So anyway, you know, this is a dope unit. People are complaining about the MPC Studio. Some people I see the new Studio because of the screen, but check this check the screen out on the Fire. You feel me? The screen is tiny, so you're not going to be as someone that has a tiny screen device that has a little bit of independent functionality, not a lot, but a little bit of independent functionality. Meaning, if you really tried hard, you could make a beat without touching the mouse or the trackpad on this thing by itself, but it would be kind of it'd be a task. It would be a task, and I don't think it would be that much of a task on the studio. I just don't think so. You know what I'm saying? But it can be done on this. Um, it just would be a hard thing to do. Now, somebody did a dope video. What was the cast name? This guy did a super dope video. I kind of wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out. Uh, YouTube. Hopefully nothing weird popped up there. Sorry. Uh, YouTube. Let's see. God, NPC Studio 2. Let's see. They're starting to sell it now, or post it now. That's the thing from marketing I said earlier. They should have named it the Studio Mark II. By naming it the new Studio, the new NPC Studio, all kind of things are coming up, which I guess maybe that's a good idea because you're getting not just the studio, the new studio, but you're also getting so it's like, you know what, fuck it, I'll just buy the live, I guess. But I don't know. They should have clearly called it the Mach 2, you know. Um, this video I wanted to point out, the dude kept it this dude right here, Bealistic Productions, shout out to this dude. He kept it super positive and he had a great point, and I agree with him 100%. If you're looking at and we just got to be honest about this shit, because I find myself doing the same thing, wanting things to be a certain way. But the computer is something you're always going to have to come to at some point in time, especially for mixing and mastering. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't want to use the computer, then don't buy a device that you can do all the recording, mixing, mastering, beat making all in one. And the studio, the MPC one, the MPC Live, the MPC X, they seem pretty close to doing that. You know what I'm saying? Especially the X with the XLR phantom power. Okay, so if that's what you're looking for, then get those units. But if you have a laptop and you want to get into the MPC workflow, which is something with all the bad history I said in the last videos, buying an MPC Studio, it being broken, the screen freezing on me, the software freezing on me, even with all that, I still want to give the new MPC Studio a try because I always wanted to have that MPC feel, just like I always wanted to have a standalone sampler. I got one now. You know what I'm saying? I got a standalone sampler now. Maybe one day I'll get an MPC one or a live. I really would like to get the live because it's got the battery, it's got the 10 gigs sounds, you know, um, the live too. You know what I'm saying? The speaker I wish was better. You know, um, you know, with the new studio, they do have a point. The screen is small, but you're going to be looking at the software. Okay, you're going to be clicking and using your mouse. You just are. That's just let's just embrace it. Maybe get a trackpad. I've seen Milo Beats has a trackpad. or not trackpad, a trackball. I got a trackball in the other room. I could bust it out. That's why I got the trackball, was to get away from the mouse. And I use a trackpad, but this trackpad's kind of messing with me for some reason. So I got the trackball, and it has a little rest for my arm, so that way it's like it's not too crazy, and it's kind of nice. It has a little bit of a, it makes it more of like a workstation, and that's what I'm talking about workflow. Is to make it as comfortable as you can. So maybe get away from the mouse, get a trackpad. If you can't find a trackpad, get a trackball. If that doesn't work and you got an iPad, get Duet Display. You know what I'm saying? There's a little bit of latency with the Duet Display. Again, it's not going to be perfect. Anything that you do is not going to be perfect. It comes down to how hungry are you, how much are you willing to work. You really want to make sure your computer is like has the best processor, the best RAM, 16 gigs of RAM. You want to make sure your computer's tip top shape. If your computer is tip top shape and you're looking to get into the MPC workflow using, you can chop on the unit. You can't chop on, to my knowledge, forgive me if I'm wrong, if someone has a workaround for the Akai Fire, you know what I'm saying? Let me know. But I don't think you can chop on this thing. Not that I know of. I don't think there's a way to press, press a button. You could do it on Serato Sample. If I had Serato Sample on here, I could do it without a doubt. You could press a button, let the sample play, and then every time you hit a note, it's gonna chop. You could do it on Serato Sample, and Serato Sample, you pay $5 a month on Splice's website with a membership. You know what I mean? If you don't want to get Serato Studio, which is $10 a month. You know what I'm saying? So that way you could, you know. Another problem I have with the Fire is it's kind of useless as a MIDI controller for other DAWs and other software. That's another problem I have with the Fire. Okay, so there are some problems with it, but is it whack? No, hell no, it's not whack. If you're a FL Studio user, this unit is not whack. There's no way it could be whack because the little bit of functions it does provide, along with the cheat sheet, if you really fuck with the cheat sheet, and if you fuck with Boom Bap, and we'll do some shit. But if you fuck with Boom Bap, you could actually make this thing in the step sequencer. You could just run with the step sequencer and load instruments from this, and just run with the step sequencer, and then use the. I'll give it to you now. Use the. What is it when you're in step mode, right? Where is it? Edit a single pitch. So on the cheat sheet on the front page, when you press a step, right? You press a step, and you hold it, and you go up and down with a note. This may seem like a small feature right here, but this is a hugely important feature. Very dope feature. This is how you this kind of makes it to where it's almost like the SP1200 kind of feel, where you could change the pitch on each single step. And if you can get very creative where you could have like a wave file. Like let's just do a quick example. Let's do a real quick example because I don't want to just talk about it. All right, so we drag that over, right? And we're just doing it as a wave file. And then let's say we there's a lot of tricks that I can show you guys, man, but we'll just do this one. And this one's not really a trick. It's just kind of common sense or whatever. But let's see, you press that, right? And then we'll just do it on here. We're gonna do 32 steps. How are we gonna do this? How are we gonna do this? Yeah, we'll do it on the controller. I mean, we could just do it on the controller where we could just press a step. We'll just do it on the controller. We press a step, do it like that, and then let's see. I guess we'll do I guess we'll do it on the one, and we're just fucking around. We're just fucking around. Wait a minute. My bad. There we go. And then let's say we, yeah, let's say we do that, and then we do this here, and then we do this. Let's say right there, and then we go to the next one. Okay, there we go. And then let's say we do the same thing on the ones, right? But we do, let's see, do that. We do this. We do this. And we do this. My bad. And then we also do cut itself. And then we do 90 BPMs. Right? And I was just throwing it together real quick. And then we take our Rex file. You feel me? Which FL Studio reads. And we just grab a beat real quick. Hit shift and then actually no, just hit the pattern song button and switch the song. Wait a minute. That was weird. My bad. What's up, Teddy? Why are you looking at me like that for? Teddy's over here looking at me like, who the fuck are you talking to? So yeah, that sounds like shit, obviously, because we just did the notes. We just put the notes together real quick. But let's see, if we were to go to pattern, go back to, and this is what I'm talking about using the mouse and using the fire. Sometimes you're just so used to using the mouse that when you get lost here, you automatically just go to the mouse. And that's just going to happen. That's why I don't think that the MPC Studio should get a whole bunch of hate, because it's designed to use with the computer. You know what I'm saying? And they don't really stray away from that fact. They don't really like hide it or anything. They let you know it's designed to use as a MIDI controller that has more functions than just a normal MIDI controller, which interacts with the software. For example, from what I've seen, and this is something that the Machine Micro can't do. You could actually chop samples in the studio. You could chop samples in the studio. A lot of things that you can do from the controller, from what I've seen so far. Will they do updates in the future? I don't know, but there's a lot of things you can do. But yes, you're going to have to use your mouse. You're going to have to click on certain things. You're going to have certain settings. You're going to have to go to your mouse and mess with it through the mouse. And that's just something that you won't be able to get around until they update the unit more. Will they update? I don't know. But what I will say, for $270, okay, the full version of the software with 25 gigs of samples is about $200. Okay, the 10 gig version of the software is about $100, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but around there. The new MPC Studio, the Mach 2, the MPC Studio 2, whatever you want to call it, the new MPC Studio with the software, the 10 gigs, not the 25 gigs, not the upgraded, not the full version of the software, but the main version that everyone gets. I don't know anyone who really gets the 25 gig version. That's if you want more sounds, which they offer that. But with the software that you need and enough sounds to do some work with, everything that comes with the MPCs, except for this, besides the MPC one, that one comes about 4 gigs of sounds. For $269, $270. So it's really good for someone who's first using a DAW. It's really good for someone who wants to use something that's related to an MPC. Is it exactly an MPC one touch, studio or uh, live or X? No, it's the new MPC Studio, and they're calling it the MIDI pad controller. So it's a different base. It's somebody who's looking to either switch DAWs and wants to have a controller that they can use seamlessly with some functions, mix and master themselves, and doesn't mind doing some clicking here and there on certain selective type of things. Doesn't mind having a little screen, but also wants to have something that's close to a workstation feel as far as programming and being able to load a kit up real quick, and then the whole kit's on there and they're able to get down. You know, um, I don't know. I don't have a problem with that, man. I don't have a problem with that. If that's not what you want, then buy a MPC one, buy a MPC Live two, buy a MPC X, or buy a Machine Studio, or not a Machine Studio, excuse me, a Machine Plus, or SP404. But do your research and know the limitations of those units, what they offer, what they do, and what they don't do. Watch some tutorials about the units first, and make sure you fully understand what they do and what they don't do. You know what I'm saying? The brand new MPC, or the brand new update, the MPC 1, Live, and X, well, mainly the 1 and the Live, because the X has an XLR input, but you could plug in an interface and record straight into it. But you could probably do it with the X because it came with the what is it, the 10.1 software. I don't know too much about it. That's the thing, is that the MPC Studio, the new MPC Studio, allows you a chance to be a part of that world. And I don't think it's fair to kind of just chop down MPC, even though my relationship with MPC, with Akai, isn't really that great. Because trust me, they let me down. Even though I love this unit, they haven't provided any updates for it. The browse button, like I told you, there's things that they could have done, obviously, that would have been better. It didn't really get a huge reception the way I felt like it should have. But I am happy I purchased this unit. Even though I can't do everything from this unit, I'm still happy I purchased it. It may not be the Push 2, which, based on the research I've done, maybe I'll do some more research later, but the Push 2 seems like it does everything from the unit using Ableton. That may be something that you want. You may want to be able to control your DAW completely from a hardware unit. The Machine Mach 3 does that. And the Push 2 does that. That might be something that you want to go for. But if you don't mind clicking a little bit and you want to get a sample-based workflow, and you kind of want to get, because here's two things I noticed, and this is just my observation. The emulation of sound in the software MPC, I don't know from what I hear, I don't know what these guys are doing. If they're using a super dope interface, if they just have great converters, I don't know. But every time someone plays the MPC software in a tutorial video, it sounds fucking incredible. So the emulation that they did, I'm guessing they captured some of their hardware emulation and they were able to implement that into the software. Okay, the sound quality. Okay, so that's one thing no one really talks about. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. I don't want to say something I'm guessing, but that's something that I guess that they might have done, because when I hear the software, it sounds a lot like hardware. It has a certain kind of sound to it when I hear the MPC software going on in the background. Watch Milo Beats tutorial on the MPC Studio. Listen to that video. Watch that video. That's what I'm talking about. That sound. It had that sound. And so for $270, you get that sound. You get that feel. You may not get the whole feel, but you get a piece of the feel. You know what I'm saying? And if you're okay with getting a piece of the feel, then that's the unit that you should get. So I might buy it. I might buy it. Even though, like I said, my relationship with Akai is kind of rocky based on past purchase and stuff like that. Based on this purchase, based on the Studio One, Mark One not working when I bought it, and the screen freezing and the problems that I had with it. Based on this one, this new one, not being, trust me, the new one being fully functioning from the unit, that should be an automatic given. The screen being so small, isn't the best. I mean, they bring up some. They bring. I don't want to just write them off and say they don't know what they're talking about, because they deserve their respect. But they bring up some good points. But it's still a unit where you could produce hits. I think, based on what I seen, based on the demos that I seen from lady, there's one girl, two girls that killed it on the unit. A bunch of people who actually demo the unit. Watch people who demo the unit versus people who say don't buy it, and then make your decision there. Watch people who, if you're on the fence, let some more videos come out and watch people who use the unit and see how it fares. Like somebody that actually goes through the unit and uses it. You know what I'm saying? So I never used the NPC, only the Studio Black, and like I said, it shut down all the time, and I couldn't get it to work, and I was really bummed out about that. But this might be a new thing for me to do. So anyway, real quickly, that's just like a little oh yeah, man. Oh, that's some Xbox stuff. Some Xbox stuff. I'll jump on later. But yeah, man. So this is a quick way to kind of, if you were really like just hung up on using the unit, right? Like that's all you wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? Let's see, hold on. Hang on a second here. Yeah. Um, so this note right here, I don't like it. There you go. So real quickly, you could do a boom bap beat real quickly like that. You know what I'm saying? Just from using the pattern sequencer. So if you were just using the pattern sequencer and like, you just said fuck it, I'm gonna use the pattern sequencer, and I'm gonna find me a little library of sounds real quick. So we'll open a new channel. Okay, but see, look, see that right there, window pops up. Now we could, let's see, what's our window selection? Toggle between windows, alt plus the grid buttons. Okay, so we could toggle like that. So we could get rid of the windows like that, you know. But see, now we get rid of our pattern sequencer or our pattern box. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be better to do it like this, where the pattern box is in front of you like that. So if you were really like just like super like fuck the mouse, I'm not gonna use the mouse. You could do it. It's just real tedious. You know what I'm saying? It's real tedious. You would have to really, at least with the, we're talking about the Fire now. I don't want to be confusing, but you'd have to have your cheat sheet. I'm guessing with the new studio, it's either close to that or there'll be some updates in the future. But I really, from what I saw, this is just me. This is just me. Based from what I saw, I'd like to get my hands on the unit for 270. Getting the software, getting some of the NPC. It's not just about the NPC itself. What the NPCs, as far as I know, what they're very known for is the sequencer. That's what anyone who ever talked about NPCs from the OG fucking 2000 to from the 60 to today. Anyone who ever said anything about the NPC, the first thing that they said was the sequencer. They would always tell me that, oh man, the sequencer on this thing, the way you could sequence, the way you could take the drums and how you could sequence the drums. That's back in the day, like in the early 2000s, like in the like late 90s, early 2000s. That's all people used to say about the MPC, about the 2500, the sequencer, the way you could sequence the drums, the timing correction on it. The feel, how you could do how you could quantize it, but also there's a way where you could do it where you don't even have to quantize it. You know what I mean? You just go and do it, and it would somehow, you know, time itself perfectly. So that's what something that people used to always rave about. The MPC was a sequencer. So if you buy the software, a lot of those old school things from back in the day, you're getting with the software. You know what I mean? I don't want anyone to tell you, from my observation, for what I've seen, they took a lot of the stuff from back in the day and put it in the software. You know what I'm saying? With a twist of new relevance. It's a good time to be a producer, man. It's a good time to be a music maker, especially if you're a youngster. I wish some of the toys that they have now, I wish they had when I was a kid. But they have them now, so take advantage. It's a good time to be a beat maker with YouTube, with everything going on. It's a great time to be a beat maker. And I just feel like the new NPC Studio, I feel like you could do some damage with that. Based on what I've seen, and based on someone who doesn't mind working with a MIDI controller that has more than just MIDI controller functions. It can chop, it can sequence. It has a lot of buttons on it. It has the touch strip. That's another thing too. The touch strip can not only be something that you use for pitch, but it could also be used for like note data. You know what I'm saying? So like if you're using it as a pitch function, you could also use it to probably program MIDI notes. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't do that now, trust me, they're gonna make an update where you can. So you'll be able to make a beat on it, right? And as you're making a beat on it, when the next, like say you make a beat on it and then you start layering instruments, one instrument you probably will be able to layer with the touch strip and play the instrument on the touch strip. That's tight. That reminds me of the Korg, some of the Korg Nano Studio has the same function. So yeah, if you do something like that, See the cut itself thing. Some, you know what's weird? Sometimes it would do it automatically. Oh, it did it automatically. It did it automatically. So what's the problem? Why isn't it cutting itself? Huh. That's weird. Let's try putting it on the same exact cut as this one. Let's see if that helps. Ooh, there we go. Okay. So there you go. So I know that's a real simple beat. Well, you know, hold on. Let's not stop there. Let's not stop there. Let's not stop there. You kind of hear a little bit more instrumentation afterwards, but that's okay. Damn, you can't open in a direct wave. Oh, you know what you could do? Hold on. Here's what you could do. Check this out. Here's what you could do. You could, see, here's where it gets long though, and this is where it gets tedious. But here's what you could do. If you just wanted to do it from the controller, you go down. Let's see. You go to where's the plugin database? Shit, where is it? There we go. Plugin database. Okay, we already have it open. You go here, and then you go open a new channel, right? And let's just make sure we have the right channel selected, because the right channel has to be selected. Okay, so the right channel is selected. So what we do is go back to here, where we have some sounds. Go to bass. What was it, 15? Okay, and then we go send to, even though we did touch the mouse, we just wanted to make sure it was going to the right track. It would have done it anyway. But see, that's the thing. It's like you have to go and click the pattern box to make sure you're sending to the right track or whatever. You know, that's the thing that I'm pretty sure, like, they could have took more of a chance on this and made something closer to a push, and a lot of people would have went after it. You know what I'm saying? Is that their mistake? Maybe. You know what I'm saying? But that's something they definitely could have done. So let's see. Nope. Nope. Okay. I guess we can't do it like that. All right. So unfortunately, we can't do it like that. So we have to drag it back. Okay. So. I'm gonna do this on a separate track or a separate pattern. was kind of fucked with that, so we'll go ahead and we won't all quantize because sometimes that comes out fucked up. We'll do tools and then we'll do quantize from there. Or no. You want to do quick quantize? I think we'll do quick quantize from here. Quick quantize. So I assigned this to track 4 in the hardware. Let's see. There it is right there. Let's see, how do we still, I forget. That's the thing too. It's like, that's why using this stuff is important. You have an undo function, shift, and the browser button, which I think that's dope. There should also be a quantize though. That's another problem I have with this unit, with the Akai, with the FL Studio, with the Akai Fire for FL Studio. I don't think there's a quantize, but I don't think there's a quantize on here. I don't think there's a quantize on here. But this is just a cool little beat, right? Like, this ain't nothing fancy. Nowadays, people are making crazy lo-fi, very orchestrated, beautiful compositions, But again, getting back to that theme of it'll get there. Just work on it. It's not the equipment, it's the producer. You know what I'm saying? I was actually somebody back in the day, and I've said this before, and this is the truth, who gave FL Studio some information that they used and some information they didn't use. I told them they should come up with a loop generator a few years back, 5+ years, 10+ years. Somebody must have liked the idea, because shortly after they came out with Riff Machine. I know for a fact Riff Machine was probably used on fucking that track with Eminem and Lil Wayne, Drop the World or whatever. It sounds just like a Riff Machine algorithm, or a Riff Machine what's the word I'm looking for? Arpeggiation. Sounds just like it. And FL Studio became extremely popular. Hey, look, that is the truth. Okay, I gave them that idea. They ran with it, and I'm proud of that. It would have been nice to get a shout out, but it's all good. I didn't get the shout out. Fine. I had an idea for a unit. Okay, I got the idea because Equilibrium sent me I saw one of his videos, and he sent me this thing for the MPD 26 where you could actually record. He had created this plugin and this thing where you could actually record yourself and play live. It was this crazy thing. I never seen it before. And you could do everything from the controller. I was like, what the fuck? And then he sent it to me, and I was like, yo, all right, now what? And he was like, oh, you actually got it to work? And then the Nico Open Labs. So it wasn't like, I don't want to sit up here and act like, I'm the inventor of a certain thing. But I had an idea for a MPD style all-in-one unit that you didn't have to use the mouse. And then shortly after that, a year later, a few years down the road, they came out with the machine, Native Instruments machine. And I gave that idea to FL Studio. I put it in the forums. It's documented. It's in the forums. Look up MC Draco. Some of that stuff is still in there. Go ahead and check yourself. It's in the. If you have a FL Studio membership, you could check yourself because you have access to the forums. If you have an FL Studio account, which you probably do, especially if you have the lifetime free updates. So you can check yourself. Just look up MC Draco and you'll see the threads that I wrote in the past. Some of them are kind of crazy because I was going through something at the time, but some of them are just the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I contributed to the community. You know what I mean? And I don't mind doing that. But going back to that, I was that person that was like, yo, fuck the mouse and, you know, instrument all in one. And it turned out to be a great idea because look what happened to native instruments. That shit took off. You know what I mean? And I'm still kind of like that. I still want to have a workstation unit that's a MIDI controller, but it's a workstation where you're doing everything from here, including mixing and mastering, and even recording, and even automation and editing. If not, then a unit standalone that does all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still on that kind of shit. But at the same time, work with what you got. Everything is done with the computer anyway. You know what I'm saying? And be satisfied. There's nothing wrong with having a hybrid system or just a MIDI controller and your DAW, and that's it. There's nothing wrong with that, you know. But with that being said, you know, I'll probably wind up buying the MPC Studio and giving it another shot. And I'm gonna tell you this though, if it doesn't work out and the software crashes, any shit like that, and I buy a new computer even, and I know this is saying a lot, I know this is asking a lot, and I put it on that and it still don't work, I'm done with akai. If that's just gonna be my position based on history. You know what I'm saying? But I'd like to get that studio and see what's good. I wish they would have made it more. Of course, I wish the screen would have been bigger. Some of the points that people brought up, the screen should have been bigger. What else? They said the screen. They definitely said the screen was a problem, and that it should be more standalone. The buttons are different. I like that there's a shitload of buttons on it. There's not a lot of buttons on this. That's one problem I don't like about the Fire. I love this unit, but there's not enough buttons. There's no, maybe if there would have been secondary buttons where it would have been like secondary commands in the actual grid itself, where you could actually hit a shift key and you get a bunch of secondary commands, that would have been tight. And they were all labeled on what they did. That would have been hard. You know what I'm saying? But they didn't do that. You know, they gave you a cheat sheet, which is dope. And then there's this weird feature. Let me show you guys this. I'm gonna give you guys this quick little secret. Let me show you guys, and it's not even a big deal. Let's see. Save as kinda. Okay. Did we even get anything? I really believe in my heart that going with the grid sequencer like this is like the ultimate boom bap machine and the ultimate trap machine, from the way you could put the hi-hats. One mistake they made, not being able to have triplet hi-hats by doing some kind of note repeat function on this. There should have been some kind of note repeat function on this. That's an MPC, or that's a akai known tool, is note repeat, and there is no note repeat on this. You can definitely fill in all the hi-hats, which is cool. You could punch in, and I showed you I could do instrumentation. All that stuff is cool, but it would have been nice to have that feature. But I still feel like if you were to just use the grid and you were to just load up samples that are chopped up, or use a sample library or something, you could definitely make some boom bap style beats very easily on this controller. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I feel with the step feature. With that step feature, that pitch step feature, when you hold down the edit pitch, when you're in step, you press a pad and you do the accent or whatever, or you change it or whatever. Dude, that shit's hard. Also the accent too. There's a bunch of shit you can do. I used to fuck with the shit with the accents and doing, edit accent pitches. I used to do that too, where you just mess with it and stuff, and like, it definitely gives it a feel. You know, it definitely has a workstation feel. It does. It does. It would have that more if there was more buttons and less need to use the PC or the mouse or whatever. But again, That's where it's all going anyway. You're probably gonna bounce these down into waves. You're gonna mix these. You're gonna do different things. You're gonna mix this, bounce it into waves. You know what I'm saying? Create more patterns. You know, this is just a quick little loop. You're gonna do a lot more things, and those intricacies and those things that you're gonna do are gonna require you to use the mouse. Little things like closing those windows. I may want to have a certain view, and I need to do that like that. I may not be able to do it with the window changer. And now that the windows are gone, there is no windows to change on here. You know what I'm saying? So again, learn your unit as much as possible and learn your computer as much as possible. Learn everything as much as possible. Learn your unit, learn the computer, learn the shortcut keys for your unit, learn the shortcut keys for the PC. Read the manual. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what this whole don't read the manual shit is about. If I never read the SP 404 manual, I never would have knew how to fucking mark samples correctly. I never would have known about the end mark, where you hold the mark button and then you press the sample and then you hit the end mark at the right moment. If I didn't read that and shit in the pattern sequencer, there's no way I would have. If I didn't read that shit in the manual, there's no way I would have known that. There's no way I would have happened to, because people don't really title their videos how to chop samples and in mark. They just show you how to chop it real quick. Like, they don't really go into that. You know what I'm saying? I had to read the manual. Certain things I had to read the manual for to find out. You know, read the manual. Read the manual of the units. I don't know where the whole don't read the manual. Read the manual. You know what I'm saying? Read the manual on your DAWs. Some of that shit teaches you how to mix. You know, they might teach you something that you don't know, common frequencies and stuff like that. What the decibels are for low end. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is important. You know, knowledge is power. You know what I'm saying? So read the manuals, read your DAW manual, you know, the help function, use your shortcuts, you know, learn your shortcuts, learn your units, all that good stuff. Do all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? MPC Studio, new MPC Studio. I'm gonna try to get my hands on it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try to get my hands on it and find out for myself. And if I get burnt, I get burnt. You know, if I find out it's not a good unit, it is what it is. It's $270. It is what it is. I'll buy a Machine Plus, and I won't waste any time. Or I'll buy a Phantom. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe even a whatchamacallit, the Roland joint, the Verse Lab, maybe even a Verse Lab. If I really just want a standalone feature, plus you could use your iPad with the Verse Lab. So there's a lot of options that you have, you know. But the most important thing is that you stay consistently working and make it fun. If the MPC Studio is going to provide you the fun and the hype and the excitement to get your ass in the studio working and making beats to get the kind of flavor you want, then do it. You know, all the drum packs, all the sound quality, the warmth, everything, for me is what I'm looking for the MPC. And for $270, it's a good entry point. Hopefully they'll do some updates in the future that make it more where it can be more independent, you know, and you don't have to rely on the mouse too much. Maybe in the future, and maybe you can get a fucking electric magnifying glass to increase the size of the menu. I mean, look at the size of this menu. You feel me? So that's what I'm working with. But if it's anything like this, it's not too bad. I did notice that the lettering was smaller than even this. I'm gonna keep it real with you. The lettering looks smaller than this because it looks like it has title lettering like that, but then underneath it, it has even smaller lettering. And so you're probably gonna need some kind of like, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. You're probably gonna eventually need some kind of electric magnifying glass or something to make that shit bigger so you could actually see it. You feel me? Um, you know, is it visible? Can you still use it like that? Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, when you get comfortable with the unit and you love it and everything, just for like a gag, just to like kind of have like a cool little device, I would say try to figure out if there's some kind of electric magnifying glass that you could put on top of it to where it can make it more broader and more distinct. That's kind of like almost like an MPC stuff, maybe some kind of futuristic MPC stuff kind of thing. You know, that might help you. You know, some kind of $3, $5, $20 device you may find yourself might fit perfectly on there and get that shit perfect. You know what I'm saying? You know, there's always things you could do, you know. But yeah, man, that's my 2 cents on it, man. That's my 2 cents on it. I'm gonna give it a shot. You know, see if you want to give it a shot too. That's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Wish they would have made it more standalone, but the buttons, okay, there's like 20 buttons on the thing, okay? The buttons are everywhere, all right? There's tons of buttons. The touch strip, the pads are huge, okay? I wish there would have been some more knobs on there. That's another thing people said. That's true. But the touch strip, the buttons, the pads are humongous. The way the buttons are, how they're backlit, and how you can see them at night. Um, the unit size, it seems like it might be something similar to this size, maybe a little bigger than this, maybe a little taller. It has the same red back as the Akai Fire. It has the same red back. But yeah, man, I think it's gonna be dope, man. I think it's gonna be dope. I actually think it's gonna sell a couple units. It might do better than the original studio. Who knows? You know, or it may flop. You know, but you know, shout out to them for continuing to try to bring music to people who don't have a whole lot, man. But if you got a $300 laptop and you got another $300, you can make millions with that shit. Period, man. Period. It's not the equipment, it's the person. It's the person behind the equipment. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see what's up with that unit. But based on the chopping functionality I saw and the times you have to use the mouse, but the few times you have to use it, it's a hybrid flow. It's a hybrid. The machine Mach 1 was a hybrid flow. This is a hybrid flow, and the new MPC Studio is a hybrid flow. If you're looking for a hybrid flow, buy that shit. If you're not looking for a hybrid flow and you want a standalone unit, buy either the Novation Rhythm, the SP404, the Verse Lab Roland MV1, the the Machine Plus, or the MPC Live 1 or X. Or get yourself a workstation like a Core Chronos or a Montage, a Yamaha Montage, or a Phantom, a Roland Phantom, and you're good to go. You know what I'm saying? Put it in your DAW later, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? The fucking Phantom controls Ableton Live now in a new update. So there's just so many things you could do, but that's $4,000. So you take $4,000 and what you could do, or you take a computer and buy yourself a $270 plus tax device, and you really fucking just go hard on that thing. It's a good entry. It's a good entry point. It's a good way to. It's a really good way to be professional. I think it's a professional way to start. I think it's a professional. They make professional equipment. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can make a hit off of this for sure. For sure, you can make a hit off of this. I don't care what anyone says. I no, you know, there was a video that came out when this dropped. Okay, when this dropped, a guy did a video and made like this reggaeton beat, right? Sick ass beat. It was on YouTube. This was before the Cardi B track came out. I can't find this beat no more, and then boom, it was on the Cardi B shit. So I'm just saying, professionals are already. I know for a fact professionals are already, not many, but are already using this unit and making hits from it. And you could do the same thing with the MPC Studio, with the new MPC Studio. You can. You know, again, do you want the hybrid workflow? Do you already have the MPC Studio software? or are you, or do you want to get into the software, you don't have it, and you don't mind touching the mouse? Those are the choices. If not, then get the live. It's really that simple. But like, kind of like saying it's useless. That's acting like it's useless is kind of a disservice to to the unit. You know what I'm saying? See if a homie has it. Try to get a homie that's got it. Try to find a guitar center that has it set up. You know what I'm saying? You know, find your local store. See if they already have it set up. Ask them if they don't mind setting it up. They probably won't do it, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to find out if the equipment's good, or get it, and if it's really horrible, send it back. Have Akai learn a lesson. Either way, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. You know, uh, I don't know. I already seen people make beats on it, and the beats they made were fire. I already seen people play live on it, and the live performances they did were dope. I already seen people fuck with the touch strip. I already seen people do demonstrations and show what it's capable of, and it looks like it's capable of doing a lot of shit. Unlimited tracks, because you're using the software. 270, you get the unit, the software. Professional, you could record, you could make a beat, hire a singer, record. You could do R&B tracks, you could do EDM tracks, you could do as many vocal tracks as you want. You could sample on it. You know what I'm saying? The way you would sample would be more like you'd have to plug into your interface to sample. You know what I'm saying? So, that would be the way to do it. You'd be mainly relying on your PC hardware and your interface. You know what I'm saying? And then mixing and mastering, you're gonna want to use the mouse anyway. So I just don't see what the problem is. There's a shitload of buttons. You know, if the unit, I'll put it to like this: if the unit does well and sells enough, okay, which I don't know, but if it does, the chances it may not, because it got a lot of hate, to be honest with you, really quick. But if it does, they'll update it and they'll fucking do more things to it. I feel like they'll update that one before they update this one. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of a bummer, because this unit, again, this Akai uh, 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 Fire for the flstudio uh, software is a really dope controller. And if they did an update and created a editor for it, I would be very happy. They abandoned it, and so it kind of has me a little bit apprehensive to buy the new studio, because they abandoned this and they kind of abandoned the old studio. To be honest with you, the old studio wasn't really a successful thing for them. I don't think. I don't think it was a very successful thing. You know, I just don't think. Or if it was, they're trying to immortalize it with a new form of it, kind of like the Series S for Xbox. All the Series S is, and this is according to them, the the memorialization, if that's even a word, of the original Xbox 360. It's just an homage. It's just a unit that will forever represent that the legacy of Xbox hardware from the original Xbox to 360. It has more power than the 360. It has more power than the Xbox One. It's slightly less power than the Series S, which I don't know, or than the Xbox One X. I don't know why they did that, but it's kind of like the same thing here, where it's a that's why they're calling it the studio and keeping the same name. They're immortalizing that time when they decided to mix, which is the first time ever, and make a MIDI controller that can run software on your computer that gave you the NPC feel. So yeah, man, that's my 2 cents on it. You know what I mean? I don't want to make this video super long. My bad. It was all over the place about the high fire, about the talking about NPC, talking about workflow. But this is the stuff I like doing. I'm a gearhead. I'm into a bunch of stuff. This is something I don't really this is something I used to do a lot, and I don't really do that much anymore. And I still watch videos on gear and stuff like that, and making beats and making music, and I don't really do it that much anymore. And I think that's the problem. I think that's a big problem. Not doing it as much as I used to. It's cool to play video games. It's cool to do all those things, but there comes a time where working in your own business, working on your own passion, should be an extreme priority. And if not, it should definitely be something that is done with some sort of frequency. But when it becomes like something that you just never do, or you're always watching videos, you're always keeping your eye on the music game, but you're not really doing anything to increase your own music, it's a problem. You know what I mean? And so sometimes buying a unit like the MPC Studio, or buying a controller, or buying a new sampler, I was gonna buy the Black Box 1010. I still might. Ever since I bought ever since I bought the SP 404, that kind of opened up the doorway for me as far as buying equipment. It gave, I never. I'll end with this. I never made beats on hardware ever, ever. For years, I made beats on software. I had a controller, but that was it. For years, all I did was MIDI. Maybe I had a mixer, but I never had a workstation like a Korg M3 or a Korg Kronos or a Yamaha Motif. I never had any of that shit. None of that shit at all. And when I bought the SP 404, shortly after I bought the last two units I bought was this and the SP 404. And ever since I did that, it kind of opened the doorway to working differently. I make beats on here as well, using my pencil, or just using some software on there, or not using anything at all. Just using this, or you know, what else did I make beats on? I made beats on, yeah, Core Gadget. What else? Did I make beats on anything else? No, just the iPad. Just the iPad. Yeah, no other devices. Just the iPad. The iPad. The iPad's nice because it kind of has a workstation flow as well. You know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of getting your hands on the camera connection kit and some other things that you need. But besides that, you don't even need it. You don't even need the fucking Apple Pencil. You don't need anything. You can just have your iPad, and that's it. Just the iPad. You don't really need a whole lot of stuff. Do you want it? Do you want that? Is that something you want? Do you want the new MPC Studio? I wanted this and I bought it. And I have a right to complain about it because I spent my money on it. I have a right to love things about it because I was anticipating certain things that I got. Or there was things that shocked me that I liked, learning the workflow and being like, oh, okay, that's what you could do, instead of dogging it. People looked at it and kind of just dogged it, and it kind of stopped the growth of it, to be honest with you. And I don't want to see that happen with the MPC Studio. Honestly, I don't, because that's what kind of happened to this thing. And it would have been nice if people embraced it a little more, because it would have created like a culture, and it would have continued the flow of it. But because it wasn't that receptive, it kind of got thrown on the back burner. So it's been 2 years. I don't think they're going to do an update for this unit, and that's sad. And I hope that doesn't happen with the MPC Studio. And I hope Akai and flstudio reconsider what they have here, because they have something good right here. All they gotta do is update it. That's it. You know, I know there's some MIDI scripting you can do in flstudio. I seen Warbeats do a MIDI scripting for this unit, and that's kind of cool. I'll investigate that, and look into it. But an editor, some more integration, uh, the browse fucking feature. Look, see, it's not even working right now. Hold on. Go back. Look, it's not even working right now. Hold on. Let's go to channel. See, it's not working. So if they could change, if they could just change that to where it actually works, now I got to click on it. Oh, look, it's still not working. It's stuck on channel for some reason, or it's stuck on the mixer, and that's another thing. It's a buggy unit because I had it on mixer, right? I pressed it. Hmm. Yeah, we'll do templates next time. We'll do templates next time. But another thing too about this unit, it gets buggy like this where you try to like figure it out and it's not work. It doesn't give you. Let's see, we already saved this, right? Let's do a new one. I think we already saved this though. Yeah, it's not giving us anything. It's not giving us anything. See, I had to restart the software just to get it to do that. You see what I'm saying? So it's like shit like that. If they would have just figured that kind of stuff out and add more features to this unit, maybe give it a chop. Why not? It's a little small unit anyway. It's the perfect size. You know, it could be the best, MIDI controller, giving it a hip hop, boom bap, almost standalone ish, giving it a life of its own, giving it its own kind of MPC SP1200 kind of feel, FLstudio, sequencer kind of feel, adding more to it, you know. I don't know, man. I don't know why they didn't do it, but you know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of things where you have to say to yourself, you know what? Maybe I won't buy another product from them in the future, and I may not. I may not buy the MPC Studio. I don't know yet. I'm still on the fence. I'm looking at buying it. I'm close to buying it, but I'm on the fence still because of shit like that. You know what I'm saying? And I would warn companies to listen to their customer base, do their best to give them state of the art um, equipment, and I know that they have to cut corners, but to make sure that they don't cut too many corners, because they could have added more. They could have made the screen a little bit bigger, maybe added two touch strips to it or something like that, or maybe like a small set of knobs or something, like maybe like tiny knobs or something in a line next to the touch strip, and in total independent functionality. From the MPC Studio original to this one, there is a drop off in functionality as far as standalone versus semi standalone. You know what I'm saying? Or hybrid, or yeah, you could program drums, you could chop, but you still got to go back to the mouse to click on program edit or whatever it is you had to click on. And again, it's still a new device. Some of the things people thought you couldn't do on the unit, I seen you could actually do, like change the tempo, different things. Besides tap tempo, you could actually manually change the tempo. Um, Several things I saw you could actually do in the controller. So who knows? Maybe there's things you can do that people are unaware of once you really get into the controller. That's going to be up to you or somebody to take a chance on. And also, maybe they'll update it. Unlike the Akai Fire, maybe they'll update the MPC Studio. It's their unit. It's not something that they have to go talk to FL Studio and say, hey, we want to do an update. I don't know how that works. I don't know who cuts a check to who. You know what I'm saying? FL Studio might be the one cutting a check to Akai, and they may be like, "Yo, we don't want to cut another check because this didn't really pan out for us." I don't know. I don't know what happens in the background. You know, it would be nice to get more updates for this unit. I do feel abandoned when it comes to this unit. I do love this unit, but there are things that should be improved, and it's a shame because this actually had huge implications, especially when it comes to boom bap, hip hop, and trap. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You could fucking go to note and you know what I'm saying? Play notes. It's dope. You could fucking go to note, change the the key signature, and you could actually shift and change the actual steps. Also, too, you could let me show you this one last thing. This is something that's a trip, right? You go to hi hats, right? This I tripped out on this, and you go to step, and let's see, on hats. Yeah, we're on hats. Okay, so here I press that one hat, right? Now watch this. You hold the mute button down, and then you press the knob. You hold the knob. You turn the knob, the select knob, and now you get these weird different kind of things going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it said earlier. It said something when we did it. Hold on, let's see if we can get to say it again. Basic with limiter. Okay. Advanced looping. Okay. So I don't know what that is. That must be some kind of feature in FL Studio. I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? You do this, and it goes for a while too. You know, and it's based on where you start the note, right? So, right. So right there, you got some reggaeton shit going on. Right here, you got a basic, right? So when it comes to like programming on this, I mean, the drum programming is my favorite thing on this thing. Is the drum is how you could and this was actually kind of a thing that people didn't really use that much anymore was the pattern sequencer. At least in this regard, using it with the thing. So maybe that might have been one reason it was out of touch because when you first used FL Studio, you used that a lot, but then you kind of got away from that and started using more of the piano roll. And when it comes to the piano roll, there really isn't a whole lot of function on this thing other than going to note mode and hitting notes. Besides that, you really don't get a lot of control over the piano roll. So, again, good idea, cool, fun, but lacking in a lacking in a lot of ways. You know what I'm saying? Lacking in a lot of ways, unfortunately. So yeah, so if I put it on the second note, right, and I hold it down and I turn, wait, hold on, my bad. Hold it one more thing. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's just one little trick I never really showed anybody. It's just you press the note and then all of a sudden you just turn it and you got all these notes and shit. It's kind of cool. You know what I'm saying? And then if you just go here but you go to the next one, it automatically gives you what you need or whatever. So if you want to go for 2 bars, you just make sure you do 16. You know, you want to go for 4 bars, make sure you do 48, something like that, right? I've done some good drum programs. We'll really get into making a beat, you know what I mean? But this was more of just like a discussion on like some akai stuff. What suits you, what suits your workflow, how hard do you work on your music, and what toys do you need to make your music more fun? You know what I'm saying? Music production more fun. Are you just a beat maker or are you a rapper too? You know what I'm saying? Or a singer as well. Do you like working with computers or do you like just working in a standalone environment, tabletop kind of environment, or all the above? What is it that you really enjoy? You really love Ableton? Do you really love flstudio? Do you really enjoy personas? Do you enjoy using NPCs? It's all about what you enjoy. But what I don't like to see is someone come out with a new unit for the clientele and people who already have NPCs who have the ability to use those units dog it just because they already got an NPC or because they didn't really fucking use the unit at all. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't have the same buttons or the same button types or the same functions. It's a different workflow than and then to just trash it, like I don't know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't want to talk shit because I'm not, I'm nobody special, but it just seems like if you were to buy the unit, sit down and actually use it, and just work on it every day, eventually it would get to a point where like you would see the use from it. But to just kind of look at it and not even demo the product or just kind of trash it when other people demoed it and showed what it could do, it just kind of seemed a little strange. So again, going back to that one cat's video that I showed you, that basically was the real point of this is what kind of workflow are you looking for? If you're looking for a standalone workflow, buy a standalone thing. If you're looking for a hybrid workflow, then buy a hybrid controller that gives you some workstation functionality. Limited, but some. If you're okay with that, because you do most of your stuff in the computer anyway, but the computer's getting a little boring. That's another person who this unit is perfect for. Is someone who always does stuff in their computer, but the computer's getting a little bit too robotic or monotonous or boring for them, and they want some kind of physical instrumentation flow. That's where I think like the MPC Studio, the new one, comes in handy. But they don't want to stop using the computer. They want to still have the computer as their main how they get down, but they still need something to like put some stuff on, and not just the MPD style either. Something that would give them more than just the MPD, and that's what the MPC Studio does. It gives you more than just the MPD workflow, for sure, without a doubt. So we'll see, man. We'll see. I can't really give you the dud or the stud uh, rating, review, or judgment call. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have the unit. So to be honest with you, this is just a discussion, just a talk. Until I get the unit and actually use the unit every day and go through the workflow for a couple months, like 3 months, then I can give you more of a review. Like, yeah, after using it every day for like 3 to 6 months, I can give you a review and be like, yeah, man, this is what it's good at. This is what it sucks at. This is what I wish I would have known about it. This is what it doesn't do. I give this unit a blah, blah, blah. I could do that. This unit, based on what I know so far, I give it an 8. I give this unit an 8. This unit would have easily got a 10 if it had not as many glitches, more functionalities, like maybe controlling the piano roll, maybe controlling some mixing, maybe controlling some different things a little bit better. An editor, if it had an editor of some kind, a lot of things, to be honest with you. But it still gets an 8 because it has a it has a vibe that it brings. It has a certain kind of vibe. I like that they used the grid. I like that they did that. I like that they used the FL Studio grid. I like that they experimented and said and came with something that no one really expected. Because to be honest with you, when I first saw the controller, I was like, "What the fuck? That looks just like the pattern sequencer." So it's a really good sequencer. It's a really good sequencer. It's a really good way to program drums, especially if you're the type of person that likes quantized drums. I would like the ability to make unquantized drums, not just in the piano roll, but also in the grid, using the drum grid, using the drum grid. So it still gets an 8 for me because I made a lot of beats on it, and beats are easy to make on it. The workflow is very easy. It's you know what I will say about the Akai Fire, about all Akai units, and I feel the same way about the new MPC Studio, is the aesthetics of the unit. Similar to the Roland units, the aesthetics of the unit are very, very, very clean looking. They make when you see them. When I see my SP404, or when I see this Akai Fire, when I see it and I see it lit up, and I see that the grid moving and stuff, and all this stuff, and I see all this stuff going on, the grid moving. Let's see, does it show the grid? There we go. When you see the grid moving or whatever, when you see all that stuff going on, it makes you want to fucking work. It makes you want to have fun. It makes you want to put the stuff together. So yeah, man, that's it. We'll see, man. We'll see. I might wind up copping that unit and seeing what's good. Because again, I want to be a part of the NPC world. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I was gonna buy the black box 1010. This kind of gives me the opportunity to buy this unit and just say fuck it. I'm gonna use the computer anyway. Have limited tracks. This gives me again. Okay, fine. It's not an NPC, according to some people. Fine. It gives me part of the Akai flow, and that's all I want. Just a part of it. I don't need the whole thing. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. And I see a lot of people selling this unit. I thought about selling it. I see a lot of people sell their Roland SP404s. I thought about selling it. After further deliberation, I'm gonna keep them. I'm gonna keep them. I still have my machine Mach 1, even though it doesn't really work that well. But I still have that. So I'm gonna keep this unit. I'm gonna keep my units. Only thing I really need, to be honest with you guys, is space. I need more space. You know what I'm saying? I need bigger space and shit. Like I don't really have the proper space that I really need. That's one thing I really, really need. You know what I'm saying? So we're talking about gear, but do you have the space that you need? You feel me? Do you have the proper space? You know, um, just a really quick, just so you guys know, you're probably gonna see me eventually when I get the dough. You're probably gonna see me in Pirate Studios, just because I can't really work at the house the way I want to anymore. I need to be in a vibe where it's conducive to creation in a musical environment, to where almost where you're forcing it sometimes. Sometimes it's okay to force it. Sometimes it's okay to force yourself to do it. You know, because it's about doing it. Sometimes it's okay to force it. I don't care what. You could be working and it's not working, and then you put it away because it's not working. That's fine. But when you rent 10 hours of studio time and that's all you have, or you rent 2 hours, you know, in this case, Pirate Studios, they have a good deal for 10 hours of studio time. So let's say you rent the whole 10 hours. That's all you get is 10 hours. That's a long time, but that's all you get. So when you're in there, you got to work. There's no time for like, oh man, I got writer's block and I don't know what should I do and shit. At that point, it's like I already spent my money. I've been in here for an hour already. I've been watching fucking YouTube. I got 9 hours left. You know what I'm saying? And so that's the mindset that I'm gonna embody, and that's the mindset that I would, if you let me, recommend to you that you embody. Embody a mindset of I gotta work. You know, put yourself in a situation where the clock is going, the clock's ticking. Rent some studio time, even if you got the fucking craziest setup. Your setup is fucking $1 million setup. You got a sick ass setup. You got a TOF board. You got a fucking analog shit, manly slant. You got all kind of crazy shit, right? Rent a studio out anyway, because when you do that, it creates a different vibe. It creates a different energy. There's going to be something about your studio that you don't like, or you're going to be so used to the energy of your studio. You're going to need new energy. That's the thing. Sometimes you need new energy, and that's what the MPC, the new MPC studio does. It provides new energy, and that's something I could feel once I saw that unit. I felt that new energy, and that's why I want to get my hands on it. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna watch some more videos on it and see what's good. We're gonna be back with some more boom bap videos with this unit, with the SP404. The computer's been acting a little bit crazy today, so we might need a new computer. But we're gonna keep on going. I told you guys, I said this on Twitch. Check out my Twitch, MC Draco 213. I'm doing a lot of gaming, some beat making videos. There's gonna be more of that stuff coming on. I'm gonna have more content from that channel brought over here because that stuff gets erased, and then, you guys don't even know what I'm doing, and you know, in other areas. So it looks like I'm just putting up this, but you don't even see that I'm doing games and beat making on this other channel. So I gotta start bringing some of that stuff over here, and you're gonna see more content from me for sure. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's the point. It's just being productive, working, putting yourself in these situations, creating goals. You know, um, I can't wait to rent that pirate studio. Uber took a shit. DoorDash took a shit. My job has been tough. I got family drama like you guys wouldn't even believe. Things are going on that are just nightmarish right now. But even with all that stuff going on, I still inspire to be better with one of my passions, if not my only passion. And so that's why I'm keeping this unit. That's why I'm keeping the SP404. That's why I'm probably gonna buy uh, uh, an MPC studio. That's probably eventually why I'll get my hands on a Phantom and get my plugin libraries back and start doing my renting software monthly like I used to do, and doing all the things that I need to do in order to be productive. I'm already, at an age now where it's like I really have nothing to lose, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm not getting any younger. 50 is knocking around the door, so it's like at this point, it's like, am I gonna have the same conversation with you at 50? Are you gonna have this conversation with me when you're 50? No, let's get it done now. Let's get the workflow going. Let's get everything popping now. Rent out a studio, get some new energy, get a new feel. You know what I'm saying? Make beats at home. Go to your homie's house. Make beats at your homie's house. Bring your laptop. He wants to learn how to make beats. Teach him how to make beats. You know what I'm saying? There's a rapper that needs some beats. Make some beats for that dude. You know what I mean? Kick him down with some beats, or charge him. If he's broke and he's broke, then charge him a fee that he can pay. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. Some people are like, oh yeah, my fees are 500 a beat, and it's like, well, dude, like that's my rent. I can't pay that. And so what do? They do what I do. They buy a $270 fucking drum pad so they can make beats. And that's who that unit is for, man. That's who that unit is for. That unit is for somebody who needs to make beats, tried a bunch of different avenues, nothing's working, has a shitty job, has a little computer and wants to get out of that situation and be a star, man. Real shit. I mean, come on, man. Let's be honest. Why we all do this? We all do this so we can live off of our music, so people know us for our music, know that we're musicians that we inspire people and we have works of creation that people admire and enjoy. That's why you do this shit, and you want to make some money too. Like, of course, there's music. Nothing's free. You know what I'm saying? You know, you rather be a starving artist your whole life or have some accomplishments to where you were able to feed your family. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that's what it's all about. So yeah, you're gonna see me in Pirate Studios. You're gonna see me doing these things. You're gonna see me increasing my equipment and changing my environment. Reading a lot more books. I got different things that I'm working on. Reading books, different subjects I'm reading on electromagnetism and studying more music and just a bunch of shit that I'm doing that I have either on my hit list that I'm starting to do or that I'm going to do. So yeah, man. That's it for now, man. Thank you for listening to my spiel. I know this was mainly a bunch of talking, but that's why I put talk in the video. Uh, don't really see any comments or nothing, so that's cool. Um, but yeah, man. I just didn't like how, I didn't like how the NPC was being like kind of just the new one was just kind of being attacked without even being given the chance to like get into people's hands yet. You know what I mean? Like at least get it, at least let it get in people's hands. You know what I'm saying? And then to let the people decide. You know what I mean? But for someone who already has an NPC to like just dog it, and not even give context to why it's with all those. I mean, with all those buttons on there and the touch strip. I watched one person's video. I watched a few people's videos dogging the unit, and then other people using the unit, and I'm like, the people using the units are making this shit look dope. So which one is it? Is it that it's worthless and that it's a waste of time, or is it that it's a good that is you can make quality beats because these people are making quality beats on it. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna stop there. But thank you guys so much. We'll be back with more beat making videos. We'll be back with more tutorials. We'll be back with more tips, tricks, more things that we could do, improvement. I don't claim to be like this musical genius at all. I don't do the music the way I should be doing it. But we're gonna change that. We do have some tricks up our sleeves that we could use, but this is also about us. This is also about me getting better as well. And some of these, uh, some of these progressions are going to be documented, and some of them won't be. So we're just going to keep it moving. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much. God bless you guys.